Good evening, I'm Josh Shilkman, and our sports ticker is brought to you by the Department of Health and Human Services. Amy Williams and the Nebraska women's basketball team earned a 10 seed in the NCAA tournament yesterday. The Huskers will play 7 seed Louisville in the first round on Friday at 5 o'clock Central Time in Fort Worth, Texas. The winner will advance to play either TCU or Fairleigh Dickinson in the round of 32 on Sunday. We'll have pregame coverage starting at 4:30 Friday afternoon with Matt Coody and Jeff Greach. The Husker men's basketball team missed out on the NCAA tournament, but earlier today they were revealed as one of 16 teams that will take part in the College Basketball Crown later this month. Nebraska will square off with Arizona State on Monday, March 31st at 7:30 Central Time. The winner will advance to play the winner of Georgetown and Washington State. And a few games of note in the NBA tonight. Coming up at 6:30, the Knicks are hosting the Heat. It's a 9 o'clock tip between the Warriors and the Nuggets, and at 9:30, the Lakers will square off with the Spurs. Our sports ticker is brought to you by the Department of Health and Human Services. Call timeout if you or someone you know is struggling or in crisis. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is there. Call, text, or chat 988. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Hour 1 of Sports Nightly is up next right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Rice, inside, Butengel, extra pass, Wooster, 3, no good. Rebound, Gary, put back up and in. Gary high in the air for the offensive carom. We've got a 2-point game.
High drama in Indianapolis. Hake bounces
there it
in.
is.
Layup for Jessica Petrie. Off the assist from Hake. Timeout, Illinois. The Big Red leads by 3. You can't draw up a better inbounds play than Callin Hake to Jessica Petrie.
Brandenburg set at the belt. The first pitch. Harry swings and rocks one into left center field. Guerrero back to the track, to the wall. It is gone. A 3-run homer for Dylan Carey. And Nebraska's lead swells to 4-0.
McCanty's 1-0, and Squire swings and drives this one. Deep right center. It's gone, and we're tied! Abby Squires serves it over the fence in right center field to tie the game at 4.
Now, here are your hosts, Jessica Coody and Nick Hanley, on the Huskers Radio Network.
Hey, everybody. Happy Monday to you, and happy St. Patty's Day, St. Patrick's Day. Nick Hanley, I'm Jessica Coody. I'm not wearing green. I didn't even think about it today. And I saw that it was the 17th, but it didn't even register. And so someone asked me today, where's your green? And I didn't even think about it. Nick, are you wearing green?
I am. It's dark green. You can't really tell probably on the camera, but it is definitely green. And this was actually a surprise. I honestly thought I had nothing but red and white and some black, and then I realized, wait a minute, I actually had 2 items of green because we do have a couple of off days, today being one of them. So yes, I am actually proudly donning some dark forest green, if you will. So it looks, and very comfortable right now too.
We are, you're hanging up a little bit on and you need to get some better Wi-Fi or something, but we can at least hear you, but you're freezing up a little bit on our feed, so it's hard to tell. It looks navy on the screen, though, but at least you got some green on. You're doing better than me, so I hope if you're out enjoying some green lemonade in honor of Greg Sharp, I know that's what he would call it, green lemonade or green beer, whatever your choice of drink is on this St. Patty's Day. Hey, I was telling you that when I went out to Ireland for the football game a few years ago, we got to know a few of the folks from Ireland, and they just think it's a travesty that Americans put green food coloring in beer. Like, why would you ruin beer that way? I didn't even think that it was a bad thing, but apparently the Irish aren't fans of us putting green food coloring in beer.
Well, and didn't I hear this too? I think you guys were telling me, because every now and then when I would have a cocktail, I would have a Jameson and water, and you said if you put water in the Jameson, then it's completely sacrilegious. Like, they would probably throw me out of the pub.
Yeah, their drink of choice there is Jameson and they call it Jameson and Ginger. It's ginger ale with some lime. So that was their drink of choice while we were out there. But apparently green beer is not a thing in Ireland. But anyways, coming over the show tonight, we're going to talk some Husker wrestling in hour number 2 with Mark Manning as Nebraska wrestling heads to the NCAA championships. We're not going to have another show before they actually take the mat in Philadelphia. So we figured we'd preview the weekend or the week coming up here tonight with the head coach coming off a really impressive showing in the Big Ten championships. So we'll talk about that. We're also going to really dive into the women's basketball matchup and their selection to the NCAA tournament coming up in hour number 2 here from Amy Williams, Callin, Hake, Maya Hargrove. So we will dive into that. But and also here in hour number 1, we're going to hear from Dane, the wide receiver transfer out of Kentucky. But I figured we'd spend these first couple of segments maybe talking some brackets, some men's hoops, as you heard Josh having the ticker that Nebraska men's basketball, despite missing out on the NCAA tournament, still going to be playing, headed to the inaugural Crown, the basketball Crown tournament in Las Vegas. And so I guess, first of all, initial thoughts on the women's basketball. They're back in the tournament. Mentioned we will dive into a lot more of that coming up in hour 2. But, hey, it was great to see Nebraska punch the seed. They're the 10 seed, going to play Louisville, the 7 seed, coming up on Friday.
Yeah, I like this, just the overall way that Nebraska's going into, and again, I apologize for the Wi-Fi. I can tell it is pretty cruddy right now, but as long as you can hear me, I'll try to reset that during the first commercial break. But anyway, looking at just their overall draw there, too, and knowing that, first of all, I think location is always key, and there is no men's basketball tournament, at least for the next couple of weeks, for Husker fans to flock to. So I like to think this will be a destination that Nebraska fans want to get out to Fort Worth, and at that 10 versus 7, the Dane Osboom Kelly Bowl, if you will. This is one of those that I think the metrics maybe are slightly in favor of Louisville, but I was looking at some of the BPI, the power index, and the predictor analytics, where there are quite a few that actually had Nebraska a little bit greater on the 50% win probability. So I don't even know if you look at this 10-7 as if Nebraska were to win, it would even be an upset. And we've seen that in both the men's and women's side of it. You get to those 9, 8, and 10-7 games, I mean, it's a coin toss. So I don't think it's a terrible matchup. And then, you would likely, if Nebraska is able to take down Louisville, you look at a matchup with TCU hosting. But more than anything, I think, again, with the ability for Nebraska fans to travel to get to Fort Worth and to really support Nebraska, that would be kind of an interesting matchup there, too. So all in all, just that section of the bracket, it's a very competitive one, but I don't mind Nebraska's drawing. By every projection we were looking at going into this thing, it looked like that's where Nebraska was going to be. So I think all in all, you got to be happy. And more than anything, Jessica, and you and I have talked about this for the past couple of weeks, even going into the Big Ten tournament and how they finished in the Big Ten tournament. Once this team got healthy, once they felt like they had everything in place, you get Britt back from a short-term injury. You have what you have. Obviously, Natalie Potts and Allison Widener are not coming back. But what they have and healthy as they can be right now started to find a little bit of that groove, too. So I think every coach going into the tournament wants to feel good about the style of basketball that they're playing and feel like they're playing as good a basketball as they can be playing right now. And I think Amy Williams has to be happy with where the squad is right now.
Yeah, and this is a team, as we have talked about a lot throughout the course of this season, if they're hitting threes, they can compete and stick around and beat pretty much anybody in the country if that three ball is going down. So, hopefully they can get hot and, upset some brackets because, it's funny, and we could talk a little bit more about this as the week goes on, but they like to match up storylines, and Haley Van Lith, who is one of the superstars of women's college basketball, transferred to TCU. So she's not playing for TCU. TCU is the 2 seed. She transferred. She played her first 3 years at Louisville, which Louisville went to Final Four, a couple of Elite Eights. And so everybody has already they already have it, figured out or planned out that it's going to be a rematch of Haley Van Lith and her former team, Louisville, in that second round. I Huskers play spoiler to all of that, so that would be fun. We mentioned that the Nebraska men's basketball team will be headed to the Crown, the first tournament out there in Vegas. So it's 16 teams and that will be competing, and Nebraska. So 16 teams, 2 from the Big Ten, 2 from the Big East, 2 from the Big 12, and then 10 at large. And it's a big push from Fox, which is a TV network partner of all those conferences and certainly of the Big Ten. But we heard Coach Hoiberg say this after, the disappointing finish, the loss to Iowa, that this is a team that wanted to play in the postseason, that they all met. They wanted to keep playing. It's a special group. And look, we see this a lot where teams that, even if it's not the NCAA tournament, if they go on the run in a postseason, whether it be the NIT or whatever it may be, it can set up for nice things to happen the next season. And I know it's not what everybody wanted. It's not what this team wanted. They wanted to be playing in the NCAA tournament. But, it's better to be playing, I think, than not playing. And this is a team that wanted to play, and you get some more time with some of the young players, as we talked about with Coach Hoiberg. And we also talked about with the football staff. When you talk about playing in a bowl game and that extra time that you get to practice and keep developing and keep playing together and get some guys, some more opportunities to continue to grow, some young players that they're really excited about. I think it's good. And I think, with a big push that they're going to be putting on the Crown, and at least you're playing, and at least we're going to get to see this men's basketball team playing here in March.
Yeah, and all of that I agree with you on, Jessica. I really do. And I think that that's probably where you have to start with this, is it's more basketball to be played for this team. But the main thing to look at when it comes to this particular situation that all these teams are in, and other than Vanderbilt, you look at, I'm sorry, not Vanderbilt, other than Villanova, you look at teams that have had variations of success. But in recent time, I don't think we'd call any of them blue bloods. Georgetown, sure. Georgetown's a team that back in the day, that brand still, I think, holds some water. But as far as Nebraska and a lot of the other teams, even Arizona State, who they're playing right out of the gate, I think they all have that commonality of this new day and age of college athletics and the rev share and the NIL game. And I think a lot of these basketball programs are all probably asking the same type of question, or at least people covering them are asking the same type of question, and that is, what type of financial investments can be put into these programs when we get to rev share? And the reason I bring that up is, what does the team who wins the Crown get? You get, after all of the fees and everything, you get about $300K towards your collective. And so I get it. People might be rolling their eyes like, well, that's not even going to get you a decent score. Yeah, it probably, hopefully, in some markets it would. But the point being, all of that can help. Anything that you can do to help that cause, I look at that being a bonus on top of what you laid out. The extra time together, the guys that are younger players that have a chance to at least experience some type of postseason tournament in March and go about it that way. I think that if you are a team, and if you're Nebraska and you're poised and you're determined to do this and you're motivated to do this, and you could be the last team standing in that situation, well, that payday is very big for a team that we're all wondering what type of full financial prioritization is going to go into men's college basketball compared to some of the other sports when it comes to trying to stay afloat in big stakes of recruiting and talent acquisition, and how, are you going to be able to pay as much as the Michigan States of the world and the Purdue of the world, all of that, all those questions. This could be at least helping you try to find a player or two that could change your fortunes a little bit.
You know what $300K is better than? Zero.
Right.
Just making a point there. I don't know. It's probably not a very good point, but I would say it's better than nothing. Hey, you are cutting out. It's getting a little worse, so we're going to step aside for a break. Maybe you could reset, hop back in. Hopefully it will fix that. But I did want to dive into the transfer portal, because a week from today, the transfer portal window will open for Nebraska, or for college basketball. And we heard Coach Hoiberg saying they're going to put a lot of emphasis into that. They are going to, prepare and practice and get ready to play in this postseason. But it's going to be equal parts of getting to work in the transfer portal. So this staff is going to hit the road, try to figure out what pieces they need to bring in. So I wanted to dive into that a little bit, what we would like to see added to this group with some good pieces coming back from this year's team. So we're going to dive into that as well. So keep it here on Sports Nightly. 402-413-2400 is that number if you want to text in and be a part of the show. We will step aside for a break, come back with more. Keep it here. And Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics.
Nebraska Lottery.
Hi, I heard Cash Blast is back.
Yes, sir. Until April 1st, buy a 2x2 ticket and enter the voucher number online for a chance to win one of 7 weekly drawings for $5,000 or $500. And if your voucher is from a 7-day draw ticket, your prize is doubled.
You guys are great.
Thanks, but we think our players are greater.
No, you're greater.
No, you're greater.
Well, if you insist.
2x2 top prize odds 1 in 105,000. When you're in the stands and have the ability to control your irrigation in the field, it's a game-changing moment. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Experience real-time play-by-play action and control that keeps you ahead. Score big with irrigation technology from Valley. It's technology that improves your life and lets you be at the game and in the game. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
Don't miss out on a complete day of activities for the entire family at the 2025 Husker Games presented by FNBO on Saturday, April 26th. The Husker Games will include football activities in Memorial Stadium, a soccer matchup with Wyoming at Hibner Stadium, and spring volleyball match against Kansas at the Devaney Center. You can also participate in a tour of the Osborne Legacy Complex, the Husker Equipment Sale, and a food truck festival. Get your tickets today at huskers.com/tickets. See you on April 26th.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
If you've been looking for a reason to fill up your car with unleaded 88, how about this? Unleaded 88
can help you save big at the pump
and save the planet by cutting greenhouse gas emissions.
Any car 2001 or newer is approved to use unleaded 88. Speaking of good, it's made from corn, which is great for farmers.
As I was saying, if you need a reason to choose unleaded 88, there you have them. Unleaded 88. Engine smart, earth kind. Visit chooseunleaded88.com to learn more.
What does it mean to be locally owned and operated? For Cenex, it means everything. It means that we know if you take your coffee to go or if you like to stay a while. It means we've helped Little Leagues get jerseys and local festivals get funding. It means we know what our communities need. So you'll always leave Cenex with a full tank, full of snacks, or full of smiles. Or all of the above. And that means the world to us. Cenex, powered locally.
Husker fans, let's call a timeout on the court and in life. When the game gets tough, Nebraska stands together as a family, as a team. If you or someone you know is struggling or in crisis, the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is there. Call, text, or chat 988. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. You're part of the Husker family, and every member is valued on and off the court. Remember, in times of need, call a timeout. Call, text, or chat 988. Presented by Nebraska DHHS.
The signs are everywhere. It's time for Truck Month at your Midwest Ford dealers. Get up to $7,000 cash on F-150 and save on Ford Super Duty. Both part of F-Series, America's best-selling truck lineup for 48 years. Hurry in, folks. These trucks are running. Drive a new Ford F-150 with up to $7,000 cash or 1.9 financing plus $4,250 cash. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers, driven by value.
Want to boost Nebraska's economy and help the planet? It's as easy as filling up your tank. Switch to soy-based biodiesel to cut greenhouse gases by up to 74% and support biodiesel growth.
I'm Greg Anderson, a farmer near Newman Grove, Nebraska, and biodiesel has transformed our farm. It cuts emissions, raises the cetane number, and improves fuel lubricity.
So ask for biodiesel where you fill up. It benefits our air, economy, and Nebraska soybean farmers. Nebraska soybeans, feeding, fueling, and innovating for the future.
Woodhouse has been a trusted dealer in your everyday, has been a trusted partner every day since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Welcome back to Sports Nightly. I'm Jessica Coody. Nick Hanley, I should have mentioned, is in California. So the baseball team obviously played UCLA over the weekend. They're staying there, playing a couple of games against Pepperdine tomorrow night. And then Wednesday night, which is why we will not have Sports Nightly on the air Tuesday, Wednesday. And then, but they were staying out there. So then taking on USC coming up this next weekend. We had a couple people asking where Ben was. Ben is now out in California. So David was on the call last week. I got mixed up on who was there. I thought Ben was there the first part of the trip, but he's there now. So Ben will be there with Nick on the call the next couple of days and over the weekend. But we also had some conversations. By the way, Art in Los Angeles texted in, please ask Nick if it would be okay to come say hello to him at the game tomorrow. GBR. Absolutely, Art. I'll go ahead and answer for him. You can go up on and say hi to both Nick and Ben up there in the booth. But he's here. Okay. So, Nick, you were not on the show. You were traveling, and we had some fun the other night with the Jalen Worthley's glove, and Ben calling it fuchsia. He was totally wrong on his colors. And then you got scooped. You know, Shane, one of the OGs in the chat, just went ahead and asked the source himself. And Jalen said it was a mint turquoise. So, first of all, you got scooped, but also have you done some color studying up with Ben so that he's ready to go?
Yeah, in Ben's defense, he did say that he was a little bit colorblind on it. He said, as soon as he said fuchsia, he's like, wait a minute, that's purple. That doesn't make any sense. Like, yeah, you're right. That doesn't make any sense. So I think he did make his mistake during the broadcast. But, yeah, I know that was – I said aqua. Obviously, I was a lot closer than fuchsia. So, yeah, I think aqua was probably – but mint, that sounds right. Yeah, all of that sounds totally accurate. So I'm glad we got that covered. I know when we were getting ready to – take off, I had snapped a kind of a hidden photo of the glove because he was just happened to be standing in front of me when you let me know that there was a debate going on. So I wanted to let you make that call as well. So are we all on the same page? A mint, aqua, however you kind of see it?
I definitely, the photos that I saw, it looked more mint to me. So okay. Anything in the mint family I will agree with because I thought it looked more mint than just straight up like aqua or turquoise. Turquoise is more.
How many colors are in the mint family?
I don't know. But we had some fun with it either way. And hey, at least he could use that on St. Pat. Well, I guess you don't have a game, but he'd be fine on St. Patty's Day, I would think, because I would say that's in the green family, the greenish family.
Emerald. Yeah, it could be emerald. Yeah, sure.
Okay, well, we've also getting some. I got to get a bracket figured out. We did it last year, and I was awful, and we had people sign up. So I don't know. We need to get that figured out. A bracket challenge for our Sports Nightly listeners. I'll try to look into that here over the next in the commercial break and see what we can do there. But what did you think of the bracket? The 14 of the 16 SEC teams, UNC making it. West Virginia's governor now trying to. Sue the NCAA, maybe he wants an investigation. I mean, there's all kinds of drama that unfolded with the men's bracket.
Haven't people learned when there is a snub, we leave it up to Seth Greenberg and Dick Vitale to go out the next day, lobby for those teams, and they usually make very compelling arguments, and we all rally behind it, and we say, yeah, he's right, and then we just leave it at that. The West Virginia governor, and I love Darren DeVries. He is a fantastic coach. He was great at Drake. His son, Tucker, it's unfortunate that he's not playing. I know they nicked West Virginia for that. But what happened to West Virginia, I'm sorry, this is nothing new. And I get it because North Carolina's athletic director is on the committee. It seems like collusion. You know, I'm going to say something that maybe people don't want to hear, but I think we all understand and know this. North Carolina in the NCAA tournament when it comes to viewership versus West Virginia or Boise State or Ohio State or anyone else we want to throw in there? Sorry, North Carolina is still a blue blood. Was their resume close to being toilet? Yeah, it was. But this is the thing. They did certain – we talked about this, I think, 2 weeks ago, Jessica, about the bubble teams. If you're on the bubble, you only have yourself to blame for that. And in West Virginia's case, it's interesting because if Tucker DeVries is playing a lot of those games, they probably do win some more, so that's unfortunate. But again, when you are living the bubble life, you only, first and foremost, have yourself to blame for that, okay? So I understand it for 24 to 48 hours. Everybody wants to jump on the teams that didn't make it in. But when you have a governor who now wants full transparency, and he said we're not quite at litigation yet because it's very popular to sue the NCAA. Come on, like, what are we doing here? I'm sure there are other things in the state of West Virginia that maybe demand your attention, this not being one of them. I feel for Darren DeVries, and I feel for any team that didn't make it in. Is it just because North Carolina has a guy on the committee that they made it in? Is that why we're raising a big stink about this? Because if he wasn't, it would be another team that was really close that should have got in over a team that didn't have as good of a resume that did get in. But it happens every year. So what are we doing?
Obviously, you
Sorry,
have
I'm fired up about this.
You have some thoughts about it. But, I mean, couldn't you argue Indiana's a blue blood? They got left out? I mean, if that's your argument for North Carolina, I mean,
Yeah, but now we're talking about another really bad resume.
I mean,
I know. That's the thing. It's like trying to choose the best of the bad resumes.
Yeah. Well, look, it's crazy because, obviously coming from Oklahoma, still have some folks from there. And it seemed like all season long, my social media was blowing up with like Fire Porter Mosier and like that it was going up in flames. And yet here's a team that goes 6-12. Both OU and Texas go 6-12 and make it. And I guess, again, that SEC. But here is my challenge now. So we heard all about the SEC in college football, and then what happened? The Big Ten went and shut up everybody, even Paul Feinbaum. Paul Feinbaum even had to admit that the Big Ten was the king of college football. So now if, the Big Ten and can go and make some noise in the basketball tournament, it will be the same thing. You'll have them eating their words. Now we will see if that will, pay off in the future. But at least maybe, you can make them put their money where their mouth is. And if you don't feel like they should have gotten in.
Yeah, and there is a lot about this. It's actually kind of a fascinating conversation that we've seen now in the last 3 or 4 years of the power shift when it does come to the conference depth. It wasn't that long ago that we would look at the SEC and say, all right, other than Kentucky, who do you have? And then Tennessee kind of got going as well. But that was maybe as far as legitimate depth to win a national championship. You could maybe go 1 or 2 deep in the SEC, and that would be about it. Now, I think Florida is as complete of a team as there is right now, but they've got a lot of teams there. So good on the SEC. They build that depth. We used to say the same thing about the Big 12. There would be years we would look at the Big 10 and say, okay, as far as maybe a national championship contender, it's limited, but the amount of teams that could get into the Elite Eight or at least be second weekend teams, there's more than a handful. So I will give the SEC credit on that one. But isn't it funny how we always get into the tournament, and no matter what happens in the tournament, everything that happened in dang near 30 games between conference and non-con, we completely dismiss and we chalk it up to just one Thursday morning or Thursday afternoon or Friday morning and Friday afternoon. If you don't hold serve there, then your conference is garbage. So it makes for great fodder. But what I will say, one of the biggest takeaways that I look at is that South region is going to be a monster. Everything about me wants to put Auburn in, but the amount of challenges that they might have, and just that 9-8, the Creighton matchup with Louisville is going to be fantastic. I mean, what Auburn might have in the second round is going to be a handful. So the South region, without question, to me, is maybe the thing that stands out the most as far as the amount of teams, the intriguing storylines there, and the way some of those teams are playing right now, as seated as low as 8 and 9 between Louisville and Creighton, I think is going to be fantastic.
Okay, so a week from today, the transfer portal will open, and we've heard Coach Hoiberg say that they're going to go to work and they're going to do some make sure that they're getting some guys in here that fit what they want to do, that are going to help this program be where they want to be. And there's some big holes that they're going to have to fill. There's no doubt about it. You're losing Juwan Gary. You're losing Bryce Williams. You're losing both your point guards in Raleigh Ulster and Aaron Eulis and Braxton Mia. I know he didn't play as many minutes towards down the stretch, but you do have a good core coming back. But and I know that they will target multiple players in the transfer portal, but if you are going number one all in, what would be your very first, hey, we have got to get this guy? What do you think that needs to be for Nebraska men's basketball?
I think you got to find the elite scorer, and this goes back to what we were talking about in the first segment of why the crown could be very beneficial if Nebraska were able to win that, because you get more money to do so. And I think the going rate for elite scorers, it's up there. There's no doubt about it. But when you're losing the elite scorer that Nebraska had, I think first and foremost you got to find that. Now, we discussed Rink Mast last week, and I think when you look at Rink Mast, assuming everything is on schedule and he's fully back, and you can complement a scoring big with a scoring, say, stretch 2-3 combo type guy, kind of like Bryce was, then all of a sudden we're looking at, okay, now you've got some pieces that are in the paint already. You've got a couple of wing players that could help you out. Obviously, there's so much offensively, consistency-wise needs to improve, but I think first and foremost you've got to find that 2-3 combo, that elite-type score to complement with Rink Mast, and then I think you kind of work out from there.
Yeah, I go back and forth between look, I think they're going to have to get multiple guys, as mentioned, but to me, I think they've got to target a point guard. And I know that Coach Hoiberg likes to run his offenses through the bigs, which is Rink Mast led the team in assists last year, and we'll do that. But I think that's been a little bit of a bugaboo, and not just any point guard, but a little bit more of someone that could add some efficiency from the outside, too. I think that was maybe a little bit of an issue at times with Eulis and Raleigh not being able to score as efficient from the outside. I think, alleviating some of that pressure. But I don't know. I think that's been a little bit of a bugaboo with this program the last couple of years, not having one of those point guards that can really make things go. But I know that Rink Mast will also alleviate some of that pressure too. It'd be nice if you could have a point guard that could score it too, and do a little bit of both. But I would hope that, Connor Season, we know he has the ability to be an elite shooter. I just don't think he scored at the times where you needed him to really score it. He was his stats were there, but it seemed like, he'd have the off nights on nights that you really needed him to step up. But I think he's a guy that has shown that he can shoot from the outside. Sam Hoiberg continues to improve from the outside. He shot it at a much higher rate this last season. And, I think we saw Berke Butengel's offensive game continue to grow, and it was coming along before the injury. And more time under Fred Hoiberg and the staff, I think he'll continue to be, hopefully his offensive game will continue to grow. But certainly, I mean, you hit the nail on the head, though. You're losing a guy like Bryce Williams. You gotta replace that scoring somehow. And I think the group that you have is going to be able to do some of that, and you expect them to take steps, but they can't do it all. There's no doubt about that.
Well, Jessica, real quickly, you bring up something really interesting, though, about Berke, because it made me think about the year 1 to year 2 jump with Nebraska that Bryce had. Now, mind you, he had Rink Mast with him. He had Casey with him. So there were options there. But we knew he needed to be an alpha this year, and he became that alpha. So I think that I look at two guys, and you hit the nail on the head on one of them right there in Berke Butengel. If he takes a major step in year 2 in this system, in year 2 under Fred Hoiberg, that's massive for this team, not only defensively, but more importantly, offensively, of what he can do. He gave you flashes at times. That would be huge, assuming, again, you've got Rink Mast there, and then hopefully you have another complimentary scorer. And the other guy that I think would be nice to see take a big jump, where you saw him in spots light it up, but not as consistent, would obviously be Connor Season, too. Those are two guys, much like what Bryce Williams did from year 1 to year 2 in this system. If you could get one of those guys to have a nice jump, elevate what their role and their production was from year one to year two. I think that would also be massive for this team.
Absolutely. Okay, let's go ahead and get to another break. Coming up on the other side of this, we're going to hear an interview. I was able to chat one-on-one with Dane, the wide receiver transfer from Kentucky. So talk a little Husker football coming up in the next segment. I did see a text rolling in wanting to chat about baseball, so we'll bring that up with Nick as well. So keep it here on Sports Nightly. We're back with more coming up on the other side of this.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the way water is breaking down your basement and damaging your home. Mold, cracks, and of course visible water are just a few signs your basement is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
The signs are everywhere. It's time for Truck Month at your Midwest Ford dealers. Get $3,000 cash on Super Duty and save on Ford F-150. Both part of F-Series, America's best-selling truck lineup for 48 years. Hurry in, folks. These trucks are running. Drive a new Ford Super Duty with $3,000 cash or 1.9% financing. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers, driven by value.
What does it mean to be locally owned and operated? For Cenex, it means everything. It means that we know if you take your coffee to go or if you like to stay a while. It means we've helped Little Leagues get jerseys and local festivals get funding. It means we know what our communities need. So you'll always leave Cenex with a full tank, full of snacks, or full of smiles. Or all of the above. And that means the world to us. Cenex, powered locally.
If you've been looking for a reason to fill up your car with unleaded 88, how about this? Unleaded 88
can help you save big at the pump.
And save the planet by cutting greenhouse gas emissions.
Any car 2001 or newer is approved to use unleaded 88. Speaking of good, it's made from corn, which is great for farmers.
As I was saying, if you need a reason to choose unleaded 88, there you have them. Unleaded 88. Engine smart, earth kind. Visit chooseunleaded88.com to learn more.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect that water is the reason parts of your concrete have gotten so uneven. Walkway tripping hazards, sinking pool deck, cracked driveways are dangerous threats to everyone's safety. But there's one way to learn how your concrete can be lifted. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
On game day, every play counts. Now imagine having the same level of control in your field. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Real-time, play-by-play control means you're always ahead of the game. Score big with simplified irrigation technology from Valley, improving your life both on and off the field. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
Welcome back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, which is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Welcome back to Sports Nightly. Going to switch gears, talk a little Husker football. I got a chance to chat with the new wide receiver transfer Dane recently, see how he's settling into Lincoln. Also his perspective, though, of working into this new offense with Coach Holgerson and everything that's happening for him here in Lincoln. So here is my conversation with Dane Key. Well, welcome to Lincoln. How's it treating you? How are you settling in?
Thank you for welcoming me to Lincoln. I'm really enjoying it. Can't wait for what the fall brings. Just super excited to be here.
Take me through your decision when you entered the portal, what you're looking for, why Nebraska was the spot for you.
Yeah, so I was just looking for a team culture. When I came here, I really experienced that so far. I saw that when I was on my visit. It's just the community so welcoming. And, I was looking for a position coach that was really going to push me to be the person that I wanted to be, and also a quarterback and an offensive coordinator who's going to take care of me.
That's great. Well, what has that been like, developing the relationship with Dylan?
Yeah, it's been a really good relationship with Dylan so far. I know it's just going to get even better. Dylan's a really talented football player. He's a really good leader and just a good person to be around.
Tell us about Coach Shorts and why he's such a great wide receiver coach.
Yeah, I got to experience a year with him last year, so I really got to build a really good relationship with him, not only on the field but off the field. He saw how I play the game, and he knows what I need to do to take that next step to be the player that I can be, and that's ultimately why I chose to stay with Coach Shorts.
What is it about him that he gets so much out of his wide receivers? I mean, he's known for being that kind of guy that can really develop the talent. Why is that? What does he look for in his wide receivers that allows for them to come out and produce on the field?
Yeah, the main thing I would say is Coach Shorts, he's still a young guy, so he really connects and relates to the players really well. So he pushes us because he knows that he was in our footsteps, and he still relates to us. So just being around him, he pushes you to be the best player that you can be.
Coming into this room, there's obviously some returners, some young guys, just a mix. What was your approach to getting in here and getting acclimated with this wide receiver group? Yeah, just the main thing that I have taken so far is I just need to take that veteran leadership role and just bringing everybody along. And, if anybody needs help, I'm there. If anybody has any questions just about the game, I've played a lot of snaps, so I can be there to help people. So that's really the main thing I've gotten so far, is just being that veteran leader. Obviously, Coach Shorts is really familiar with Coach Holgerson, but what's your perspective in getting to know this offense and Coach Holgerson and him as a coordinator? Yeah, Coach Hog, I really enjoy being around Coach Hog. He knows the game of football. He knows how to let his wide receivers go do what they can do and be very very dynamic in this offense. So I'm just super excited to work with Coach Hogue. I know Coach Shorts has worked with him many years. He played with them, he's coached with them. So with Coach Shorts having that much trust in Coach Hogue, it just gives me even more trust in him. Being that you have some experience at this level, what are your goals for the spring? I mean, how do you continue? What are some of the things that you're looking to get better at here this spring football before you get into summer and then fall camp? Yeah, the main thing that I've really focused on is just getting faster. Not only getting faster, but getting faster will help improve the game by, creating separation, doing all the things on the field. So that's really the main thing that I've been focusing on, and those are one of the main things Coach Shorts has been helping me with. So it's been a great experience so far. How were the mat drills and workouts over the last couple of months? Yeah, so the mat drills was something new to me. We didn't really do those back in my previous university, but it was intense. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I think Coach Rule even told me yesterday, he said, I saw the look in your eye. He said, it kind of looked like you didn't know what you got yourself into. And I was just like, yeah, I really didn't, Coach, but, I'm here for the team, and I'm just ready to show out for the team now. So you guys also have some team competitions going on as part of the Team Commitment Week. You were part of the bowling crew. How would you evaluate your bowling skills and what you were able to provide to your team?
Yeah, I think I let my team down a little bit today. Today wasn't my best bowling day, but, there's always tomorrow to come back. One of the main things they say around this program is what's next. So, what's next? Tomorrow's a new day.
Oh, that is awesome. Just this time, this building, just that camaraderie, how important is that for a football team?
Yeah, it's very important. I think Coach Rule does a really good job with getting you involved with your teammates, learning new faces, because it's all so new to me, because I was at a previous university for 3 years. Now I'm coming here and everybody's just been so welcoming, and getting to know everybody, names, faces, just trying to put everything together. And Coach Rule does a really good job with these team competitions, and mat drills even brings you closer too, because it's just you go through hardships together and it makes you closer.
Great stuff. Appreciate your time and welcome to Lincoln.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, enjoyed chatting with him. How about that? He said, what's next when he was not as good of a bowler as he had hoped to be. But, I love what he said in his press conference, too, about spending time with Dylan and how Dylan was with him the entire time and was really involved with his recruiting. And also that Coach Holgerson said, hey, if you don't want to be the guy, then don't come here. But I think he's going to be a really great addition to this offense, and obviously fits with what Coach Holgerson wants if he's a Coach Shorts kind of guy.
Well, and the thing that I'm actually kind of intrigued by and still curious, as you mentioned, and you asked the question about just the relationship with Dylan, and for such a early part of that relationship that's already well in its development. And I think that's going to be huge. And when you think of, we were just talking about Bryce Williams being an alpha, you're looking at someone to be that alpha in the wide receiving room, and you're looking for somebody to have that type of chemistry. And I remember Matt Rule talking about this in the offseason, that Dylan taking that natural step forward as a leader and getting everybody together for doing passing workouts and being able to come together. Last year, it was more of, hey, we're going to do this if you guys can make it. Now it's you need to get your butt there. And I think having a guy that comes in a little bit with the cachet that Dane Key does and the experience that he has, you can have not only what I think is going to be an alpha with Dylan, but also having that type of wide receiver that does come in with instant credibility. And then you've got a new wide receiver coach and Dana Holgerson vouching for all of that. So I think that's a big step that this offense has to make. And I think it starts with just those types of relationships and those types of just attention to details, that type of commitment that you've got to see from the quarterback and that entire group.
All right, got to get to a break. Coming up next, we are back to wrap up hour number 1. Keep it here on Sports Nightly.
Huskers fans, let's call a timeout on the court and in life. When the game gets tough, Nebraska stands together as a family, as a team. If you or someone you know is struggling or in crisis, the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is there. Call, text, or chat 988. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. You're part of the Husker family, and every member is valued on and off the court. Remember, in times of need, call a timeout. Call, text, or chat 988. Presented by Nebraska DHHS.
Don't miss out on a complete day of activities for the entire family at the 2025 Husker Games, presented by FNBO on Saturday, April 26th. The Husker Games will include football activities in Memorial Stadium, a soccer matchup with Wyoming at Hibner Stadium, and spring volleyball match against Kansas at the Devaney Center. You can also participate in a tour of the Osborne Legacy Complex, the Husker Equipment Sale, and a food truck festival. Get your tickets today at huskers.com/tickets. See you on April 26th.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health, and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
What does it mean to be locally owned and operated? For Cenex, it means everything. It means that we know if you take your coffee to go or if you like to stay a while. It means we've helped Little Leagues get jerseys and local festivals get funding. It means we know what our communities need. So you'll always leave Cenex with a full tank, full of snacks, or full of smiles. Or all of the above. And that means the world to us. Cenex, powered locally.
Welcome back. Final segment here of Sports Nightly. Jessica Coody here with Nick Hanley, or joined by Nick Hanley, who is in California as he was on the call for the series against UCLA and got a couple of midweek games against Pepperdine before taking on USC coming up this weekend. Nick Goose from Beamer said, baseball team needs to learn to swing the bat, not watch 2 strikes go by and swing at bad pitches for strike 3. Your thoughts to that?
Well, I think Will Bolt would even tell you the strikeout numbers are up right now, and I can tell you that is something that this coaching staff is really trying to emphasize, is those types of at-bats, and that all stems from what has been the lingering problem with this offense. And whether it's Nebraska getting off to a good start like they did yesterday, it's being able to find that offense in the middle part of the game and to bookend the game. And with runners in scoring position, the RISP numbers right now, runners in scoring position numbers right now, are not great for Nebraska. In fact, they're bad. And so a lot of that stems from how are you approaching? What are you doing with 2 strikes? Are you missing some of your better pitches early on? And I can tell you this staff is definitely looking into everything that they can do to create that type of offense and to try to drive that message home, because that's the thing that's tough to swallow right now. And I think that's, the head coach is experiencing that frustration. Is these are experienced hitters. These are guys that have shown in the last year or two, even beyond that they can hit well over 300, that they can get on a tear and not look back. So it's just a matter of hoping that comes on. But in the meantime, you're bringing in new guys here and there off the bench and giving them some opportunities too. So yeah, it's definitely a problem right now.
What's the matchup look like with Pepperdine? Because you're going to hop off here in hour number 2 since you're out there on the West Coast. But so I guess a quick preview here of this midweek matchup with Pepperdine.
Pepperdine's struggling right now, and this is a team that you hope that they're ripe for the picking for Nebraska to get some offensive confidence in there, and I think that's definitely going to be attacked. They're struggling as well, hitting the ball. Their ERA is very inflated as well. So, but I think this is one of those cliche things, Jessica, that it's not necessarily about their opponent, even though Pepperdine doesn't present the same type of challenges that USC will this weekend. This is about Nebraska and doing the things that they are capable of doing, the things that they showed that they could do last year with the same group. So I think this is going to be a concentrated effort, probably good for them to kind of get away from baseball today and get back at it tomorrow. So, yeah, I think this is all about what Nebraska does, how they respond, and try to go into that USC series with some confidence.
What are you guys doing, you and Ben, doing to fill the time? I guess Ben got there, today?
In fact, I just got a text. He's en route to the hotel right now. So, yeah, he just landed. I think he had some delays.
That's a long time for you to spend out in Cali.
It is. I just finally got my body got used to the time change. I was going to bed at 9 o'clock, for Pete's sakes. I mean, and it wasn't like we had that early of a morning either. So last night I finally got used to, we were out having dinner right around 8 o'clock or so, and it felt kind of like 8 o'clock as opposed to feeling like 11 or 10. So I think it's probably going to take Ben like a day or two if he's like us. But we'll just have some dinner tonight, tomorrow. So we go into Malibu, and remember with the wildfires, it's really tricky to get there now. So it might take us 2 hours to get there and back. So it's going to make for a long couple of days, but I know we're circling Thursday as well, as everybody is getting ready to watch a lot of hoops. We might get some golf in on Thursday as well. We'll see. Well, it's just kind of playing it by ear right now.
Have you eaten any good food yet? That's what everybody wants to know,
Yes. We went to a Mexican restaurant on Friday night. That was fantastic. We went to a little beachside cafe last night. That was outstanding. And then Jared and myself, the SID, Jared Meister, SID extraordinaire, we just stopped at just a little burger joint over by Venice Beach. That was fantastic. So yeah, so far everything has been great. Great hospitality too. The UCLA folks were fantastic, and we've been wearing the Nebraska stuff. A lot of people getting some GBRs as we're walking around Venice Beach. So yeah, very cool.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us here in hour number 1. You and Ben will be on the call. 5 o'clock first pitch, so 4:30 pregame show, 4:30 Central. So we'll look forward to hearing you back on the air with us tomorrow for baseball and pregame with Ben McLaughlin. Thanks, Nick.
You bet. Sounds good. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, coming up, hour number 2, we're going to talk more Husker women's basketball. Punched a ticket back in the NCAA tournament, their matchup with Louisville. Also going to hear from Mark Manning, head coach of Husker wrestling, as they head to the NCAA championships with some big goals and expectations for a lot of Huskers. Keep it here, hour 2, just ahead.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
When you're in the stands and have the ability to control your irrigation in the field, it's a game-changing moment. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Experience real-time, play-by-play action and control that keeps you ahead. Score big with irrigation technology from Valley. It's technology that improves your life and lets you be at the game and in the game. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your crawl space and damaging your home. Musty smells, sagging floors, mold are just a few signs your crawl space is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns: a free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
For farmers, sustainability is a way of life. 97% of farms are family-owned, and 95% are participating in conservation programs and using sustainable practices.
I'm Ann Meese, a farmer near Elgin, Nebraska. I grew up on this land, and we're dedicated to being good stewards and leaving it better for the next generation.
Since 1980, U.S. soybean farmers have boosted production by 130%, all while lowering emissions and improving land and water use. Nebraska soybeans, feeding, fueling, and innovating for the future.
Good evening, I'm Josh Hilkman, and our sports ticker is brought to you by the Department of Health and Human Services. Amy Williams and the Nebraska women's basketball team earned a 10 seed in the NCAA tournament yesterday. The Huskers will play 7 seed Louisville in the first round on Friday at 5 o'clock Central Time in Fort Worth, Texas. The winner will advance to play TCU or Fairleigh Dickinson in the round of 32 on Sunday, while pregame coverage starting at 4:30 on Friday afternoon with Matt Coatney and Jeff Grecian. Also stay tuned to hear from Nebraska women's coach Amy Williams and some players later this hour. The Huskers men's basketball team missed out on the NCAA tournament, but earlier today they were revealed as one of 16 teams that will take part in the college basketball crown later this month. Nebraska will square off with Arizona State on Monday, March 31st at 7:30 Central Time. The winner will advance to play the winner of Georgetown and Washington State. And taking a look at a few games of note in the NBA tonight, the Heat lead the Knicks 25-14, 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. Coming up at 9 o'clock, the Nuggets will play the Warriors, and at 9:30, the Spurs will face the Lakers. Our sports ticker is brought to you by the Department of Health and Human Services. Call a timeout. If you or someone you know is struggling or in crisis, the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is there. Call, text, or chat 988. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Hour 2 of Sports Nightly is up next, right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Rice, inside, Buchton gel, extra pass, Wooster, 3, no good. Rebound, Gary, put back up and in. Gary high in the air for the offensive carom. We've got a 2-point game.
High drama in Indianapolis. Hake bounces
there it
in.
is.
Layup for Jessica Petrie. Off the assist from Hake. Timeout, Illinois. The Big Red leads by 3. You can't draw up a better inbounds play than Callin Hake to Jessica Petrie.
Brandenburg set at the belt. The first pitch. Carey swings and rocks one into left center field. Guerrero back to the track, to the wall. It is gone. A 3-run homer for Dylan Carey. And Nebraska's lead swells to 4-0.
McCanty's 1-0, and Squires swings and drives this one. Deep right center. It's gone, and we're tied! Abby Squires serves it over the fence in right center field to tie the game at 4.
Now, here is your host, Jessica Coody, on the Huskers Radio Network.
Welcome back. Hour number 2 of Sports Nightly. Jessica Coody, glad you joined us on this St. Patrick's Day Eve. So we were talking about creating a bracket challenge. We did it last year. Had some fun with it. I was awful. I think I got last place. But we created another bracket. So if you're listening, you want to play along, it's a public bracket or a public bracket challenge. So you can just go to the ESPN bracket challenge, search HRN Sports Nightly. Anybody can join if you want to come and be a part. I wonder if we could find a prize or something to give, Josh. Like if we have some tickets or something we could give away.
That sounds like a great idea. I feel like that would, the incentive should just be the pride of winning the prestigious Sports Nightly challenge bracket, but I think that a prize would maybe give a little bit more incentive too.
Well, I unfortunately don't have a show before you need to have your bracket filled out, so I'll do some digging and ask some folks around if we have something that we can give away. I can announce maybe what the price could be on Thursday night, but you will already need to have your bracket filled out. So come join us, have some fun. Let's see who could win the bragging rights to the Sports Nightly Challenge this year. I should look up who won it last year. I don't even remember, but I know for a fact it wasn't me. So we need to get the interns involved too, because the interns are the reigning champs of the picks, of the college football picks. So we just need to make sure we beat the interns in the basketball picks. But play along with us. It's fun. I'm going to try to fill out a couple different brackets, see if I can be decent in any of them, but I'm usually not very good at this. But have some fun with us, and maybe we can find a decent little prize for the winner we can send out to our listeners who participate. Okay, so we said we'd dive into the women's matchup. We heard last night the Nebraska women's basketball team name called in the NCAA tournament field, and they are a 10 seed and will take on Louisville, who is a 7 seed. And so there's some history there with Louisville. Obviously, we're going to hear Amy Williams talk about that. But we're planning on having Matt Coatney in on Thursday night to preview the matchup, because they'll play Friday, 5 o'clock in Fort Worth. We'll be on the air 4:30 with the pregame show. But, you think about this team and what all they've gone through. I mean, losing Natalie Potts, who was the Big Ten Freshman of the Year, and how important she was to this group. And then for them to respond. And then Allison Widener was starting to play her best basketball and kind of getting her groove back. And then she goes down. And just the emotional roller coaster. Then Britt Prince gets hurt, goes down for a while. Just how they've continued to respond and to be in this. Just incredible for this team to be back in the NCAA tournament. And as we've seen, it doesn't matter who they're playing. If they're hitting threes, they can compete with just about anybody in the country. And I will say this. I mean, you have to beat. We're going to hear from Coach Manning here coming up, and he says this, and every single coach will say this. You have to beat good teams or good people to get to where you want to go no matter what. But I will say I do think it maybe is a little bit better to be a 10 seed than an 8-9 seed, because then maybe you're avoiding playing one of those 1 seeds in the second round if you happen to win. But I talked in the first segment about how there's the big storyline that if TCU wins and advances and Louisville wins and advances, it would be a rematch of Haley Van Lith and her former team Louisville in the second round. But I'm hoping Nebraska plays spoiler to all of that. But I had a chance last night at the selection show party with Nebraska women's basketball to catch up with the head coach Amy Williams. Here is her reaction to hearing Nebraska in that NCAA tournament field. Well, Coach, congratulations again. Another NCAA tournament appearance. How does it feel year in and year out to see Nebraska's name pop up on that screen?
Yeah, I was just talking that 3 out of the last 4 years just says a lot for this senior class. Those kids like Alexis Markowski and Kendall and Allison Widener, and the kids that really believed in this program before they ever stepped in, that this could be a household name in the NCAA tournament. And then here we are, 3 of the last 4 tournaments, and just excited to be going back dancing.
And, as we've talked about so much, we even talked about it last week, but for this team to be here after all the adversity they went through, got to make you really proud that they were still able to get here.
I'm just so proud of this team. I just feel like we talk a lot in our program about response and what's your response like when things are, going your way, but maybe not going your way, and when adversity hits, and how do you respond to that? And we talk about it a lot, but then to watch this team actually embrace that and to handle the blows that kind of came our way with Natalie Potts' injury and Allison Widener going down, and the way that our kids have just rallied around those 2 players and found ways to lean into each other and continue to work towards being the best version of ourselves. I'm just so proud.
Well, how about the matchup with Louisville? You got some history there with the coach there at Louisville.
Yeah, I already have a text message on my cell phone from Jeff Walls, their head coach, who was an assistant coach here at Nebraska my senior year. My last year, I was blessed to play for Jeff. I have a ton of respect for him. I've learned a lot from him and Paul Sandiford, who were here coaching when I played. But just along the way, Jeff has been an incredible resource for me. He's been very willing to take my calls to talk about anything and everything that I've wanted to talk about. So I've really enjoyed being able to lean in. I have a ton of respect for his program, and I know they have a lot of history of advancing in the tournament, so we have a ton of respect for their program.
I know you'll probably really dive into the film this week, but what do you know about Louisville so far?
I was just telling our players that I watched their first game of the year when they played over in France or somewhere overseas in one of those early highlight games, and I don't know that I've watched a full game since. So that's something that I'm going to have to spend some time. We'll see how much sleep we get tonight. So.
We talked last week just about, having that week following the Big Ten tournament. What was accomplished? How do you feel about the way the team handled last week leading into tonight?
Yeah, I think the best thing is it was, allowed us after those 3 games in 3 days at the Big Ten tournament to really kind of heal up our bodies and get to feeling pretty much better. But also, we talked a lot about that this time of year, the teams that are going to advance are the ones that are continuing to find small ways to keep getting better. And I think they really took that to heart. They've been working really hard, and everybody has been sharp, and so I'm just really proud.
You got a lot of players that were a part of the team that advanced last year and won a game. So how important is that experience that they can take into this, knowing what it takes to go win in the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, I think we saw in the Big Ten tournament that, we had a bunch of players that kind of got a taste of playing 4 games in 4 days a year ago and advancing all the way to the championship game. And then we won a couple of games in this year's Big Ten tournament. So I think it shows us that, that when you have that confidence and you've had a little taste of what it's like to have success and advance, you just want that back. And I think this is a team that's really hungry to continue to advance.
Last thing I got, I know you'll dive into the matchup, but it's a lot of times always about what Nebraska does, right? So what are going to be the keys, do you think, for this team to go on another run here?
Yeah, I think it's going to be important. We have to be able to score the basketball. This time of year, we're going to have to shoot it well. We're going to have to make shots and make baskets. But I think, just a huge piece for us, and we've learned this, playing teams like UCLA, when you're playing NCAA tournament teams, you have to rebound the basketball. And we did not do that against UCLA in December, and we still got out rebounded in the Big Ten tournament, but we were much more competitive in that area, and it gave ourselves a chance to be competitive in the ball games. So I think heading into the Louisville matchup, but also just the NCAA tournament in general, you better be able to rebound.
Congratulations and have fun this week.
Thanks so much, Jess.
You heard Coach Williams are talking about Louisville and the NCAA tournament and the history there. In fact, I asked Matt Coatney about Louisville. He said Jeff Walsh just doesn't lose in the first round of the tournament. They had gone to 5 straight Elite Eights, and last year actually lost for the first time under Coach Walsh to Middle Tennessee State in the first round. And he had talked a lot about that serving as motivation for this group this year. So they're going to try to avoid making it 2 in a row, but hopefully the Huskers can make it 2 in a row. And Louisville had been without their leading scorer in the ACC tournament, but Coach Walls confirmed last night on Selection Sunday that a couple of their players that have been out will be good to go in Texas for the NCAA tournament. So we will see how that matchup goes there, and we'll dive into more of that matchup as the week unfolds and on Thursday night, the night before the game against Louisville. I also had a chance to chat with one of the leaders of this Nebraska women's basketball team, Callin Hake, last night at the selection show party. All right, well, Nebraska headed back to the NCAA tournament here with Callin Hake. How did that feel? I'm sure it never gets old seeing Nebraska pop up on that screen.
Never gets old. To hear your name called on Selection Sunday is just a dream come true. And all of us, when you're little girls, kind of dream of this moment, and it truly never gets old.
This is a team now that's done it, and you've been a part of it. But, for this group, what you guys have fought through all year, how rewarding is it to still be in this spot despite the punches that were thrown your way this year?
Yeah, absolutely. We faced a lot of adversity, and so just to hear our name called is such a big honor, and we're just so grateful every single day to be practicing in March because some teams can't. And so we're just being present, living in the day-to-day, and we're super excited to go to Fort Worth.
What was it about this group that you guys were able to respond so much throughout this year?
Yeah, I just think we talk about how we can handle hard better, and we know that's what is going to separate us. And we know in life, but also in basketball, adversity is going to hit, and how you handle that is your choice. And we've chosen to rise above and just handle everything face on, and that's what made us very special this year.
How much fun is this group? You guys just seem to just enjoy every second you're together.
So much fun. I just think our connections off the court are completely genuine, and that just translates onto the court, and that makes playing this game with joy so easy.
Okay, tell us what went into last week. You guys had the week following the Big Ten tournament. What were you guys able to accomplish, and were you able to maybe rest a little bit too?
Yeah, absolutely. It's awesome to have an opportunity to work on you for a week and just bettering our game. We learned a lot in Indy, and so just having that week to work on us specifically and not have to scout for an opponent is just awesome. And I know I said it, but just being so grateful that we get to practice in March. Sometimes it can be a grind, but we're just so grateful and thankful that we get another opportunity and another day tomorrow.
Being that you were able to find some ways to win in the Big Ten tournament and string some games together, how much can you take away from that moving into now the NCAA tournament?
Absolutely. I think just our team finally got that taste of what it means to win in any type of tournament, and I think we're hungry for more, and we get to prove that, and that starts in Texas.
You were part of the team that won an NCAA tournament game last year. What did you take away from that? What do you guys, as the experienced ones, telling the young group to be able to go and maybe do something similar?
Yeah, absolutely. I just think it's so important to play our game. We're good enough. We've proven that, and we just got to take that one day at a time. And we got to win tomorrow in practice and the days leading up to when we leave and when we get there. But just being present, focusing on us, and going 1-0 because it's a one-game season now.
Great stuff. Well, how do you guys go about now preparing for Louisville, now that you know who the opponent is?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll start tomorrow, probably get a good look at them. I know our coaches won't sleep, and we're very grateful for them. But yeah, excited to look at them, an opponent we really don't know too much about, but we're excited to watch them in film tomorrow.
As a basketball player growing up, this is what you dream about. I mean, just how much fun is it to get to be a part of March Madness and dancing? You know, you talk about wearing your dancing shoes here in March.
Yeah, absolutely. Got to dust them off a little bit. But no, it's just a dream come true. I say it quite frequently, but I'm living an answered prayer. And so to hear your name called on Selection Sunday is a dream, and to do it with your best friends is even better.
Great stuff. Appreciate your time. Best of luck this week.
Thank you. Let's go dancing.
I love that. Love that. Again, Callin, Hake with Nebraska women's basketball. Hey, they're going to rely on some freshmen if they want to be able to advance, and a trio of freshmen that have been a big part this year, no doubt about it. Britt Prince, and then Maya Hargrove, who we've seen really take on an important role with some of the injuries. And it's fun seeing the freshmen go through their first Selection Sunday song and dance with when is the name going to get called, and because you would see the numbers pop up. It's fun with any team, but it's always really fun to see the people go through it for the very first time, and so you kind of know a little bit maybe where you might go, what people have projected you to, and so each time you'd hear the number, you'd get this, oh, is it us? Is it us? But to see the freshmen go through it for the first time was a lot of fun, and Maya Hargrove certainly had some fun yesterday. All right, Amaya, first time going through this. What was Selection Sunday like for you?
Yeah, it was so exciting. I woke up this morning and I was like, oh, it's Selection Sunday. I was so excited. And then sitting in there, it was so much fun. We were so anxious, like ready to just like get it started. And then once we, were watching the TV, it was like, okay, like when is it going to be us? Like, we all kind of had our thoughts, but it was really fun.
How did it feel for you the first time seeing Nebraska pop up on that screen?
Yeah, it was so cool. I was like, oh, there we are. And I like jumped up. I was like, oh my gosh, like, it's so crazy, seeing everybody else. It's like, oh yeah. And then when you see like your name, it's like, oh, holy cow, like it's real. So yeah.
Just this team this year, for you guys to put yourself in a position, we talked to Coach Williams a lot, and I know the word is respond, but for you guys to have responded all year long, how does it feel that you're in this position still with this team?
Yeah, I think it just shows that, all the hard work and everything we've been through has really paid off, and this is a special group, and I'm just really excited to see how far we can go.
What has allowed for you to come in and make the kind of impact that you have as a freshman?
Yeah, I think it's just the trust from my teammates and from the staff. Every day I come in and I know they have confidence in me, and that helps, put that in, for me to have it in myself. So, yeah, I would just say the people around me.
So many people have stepped up, whatever the need may be. How has it felt that they needed you and that you were ready for that when your number was called?
Yeah, I think it really, like I said, just kind of goes back to the trust that my teammates have in me and my staff has in me. And I know I can do it because I know they're behind me 100%. So.
What have you, I guess last week when you guys were in the Big Ten tournament, you won a couple games in the tournament. What did you personally take away from knowing what it takes to win and advance?
Yeah, I think just the experience as a whole was just great, especially for all of us freshmen. Like, this is new for us. So I think it's just, building that experience and really getting those opportunities. And, going into the NCAA tournaments, like, yeah, we've been in a position like this before. So it's been really cool.
Coach and Callin were just telling us that last week you guys wanted to get better. How much better do you feel like this team was able to get last week during the off week?
Yeah, I think we've taken some strides this week, and it's just going to continue to push us forward as we get deeper into March.
How excited are you for the week?
I'm so excited. I can't wait.
What's going to go into your role and what you need to do for this team to be able to maybe go win some games here in March?
Yeah, just whatever the team needs, whether it's rebounds, offensive rebounds, putbacks, things, whatever, just making plays for my team. Energy pills is what we talk about all the time. So any way I can provide energy for this team, it's what I'm going to do.
I just talked to Callin about this, but this is what you dream about, right? So how does it feel for the first time to get to, go chase a dream playing in March?
Yeah, it's so surreal, especially like with the Big Ten tournament, just trying to soak it all in, and just remembering like this is just a once-in-a-lifetime experience. It could be. Hopefully it's not once in a lifetime. But yeah, I think just really soaking it in, it's been super important for me. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, best of luck.
Thank you so much.
Great stuff there. Again, Maya Hargrove, freshman for Nebraska women's basketball, has really stepped into a big role. I'm excited. She's been so impressive this year in the role that she's played as a freshman, but I remember when we were talking with Amy Williams after she signed and how excited Coach Williams was about her future, Maya Hargrove's future, and what she's going to be able to provide for this program. And I think we're already seeing glimpses of it, obviously, as a freshman and the role that she's played, but just going to continue to get better and better, and just a joy to talk to that entire team and staff. Just a really great group of people and fun to be around, and I'm excited to see the journey continue. Again, coming up 5 o'clock on Friday will be the first round matchup against Louisville. We will have the pregame show with Matt Coody, Jeff Grease starting at 4:30. So we can tune in there. We will have all the coverage there. And we'll talk much more Husker women's basketball, their matchup coming up on Thursday night when we have a full show here on Sports Nightly. All right, going to get to a break here on hour number 2, but we're going to keep talking postseason because it's what's next for Nebraska wrestling as well, coming off a really impressive showing in the Big Ten Championships last week or 2 weeks ago. So they're headed to the NCAAs coming up this week, and a lot of guys with a lot of high expectations for Mark Manning's crew. So we're going to talk about it with the head coach coming up next. Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics.
What does it mean to be locally owned and operated? For Cenex, it means everything. It means that we know if you take your coffee to go or if you like to stay a while. It means we've helped Little Leagues get jerseys and local festivals get funding. It means we know what our communities need. So you'll always leave Cenex with a full tank, full of snacks, or full of smiles. Or all of the above. And that means the world to us. Cenex, powered locally.
If you've been looking for a reason to fill up your car with unleaded 88, how about this? Unleaded 88
can help you save big at the pump
and save the planet by cutting greenhouse gas emissions.
Any car 2001 or newer is approved to use unleaded 88. Speaking of good, it's made from corn, which is great for farmers.
As I was saying, if you need a reason to choose unleaded 88, there you have them. Unleaded 88. Engine smart, earth kind. Visit chooseunleaded88.com to learn more.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
What does it mean to be locally owned and operated? For Cenex, it means everything. It means that we know if you take your coffee to go or if you like to stay a while. It means we've helped Little Leagues get jerseys and local festivals get funding. It means we know what our communities need. So you'll always leave Cenex with a full tank, full of snacks, or full of smiles. Or all of the above. And that means the world to us. Cenex, powered locally.
Nebraska soybeans power everyday products, from Goodyear tires and Skechers shoes to soy-based turf and fire suppressants. These innovations replace petroleum and utilize other components of the soybean, leading to more sustainable products worldwide.
I'm Doug Sadoff, a farmer near Trumbull, Nebraska. Thanks to cutting-edge research, soybeans are now in everything from tires to turf. It's amazing to see how these advancements are unlocking new potential for our crops.
Soybeans are a win for every product and everyone. Nebraska soybeans, feeding, fueling, and innovating for the future.
The signs are everywhere. It's time for Truck Month at your Midwest Ford dealers. Get up to $7,000 cash on F-150 and save on Ford Super Duty. Both part of F-Series, America's best-selling truck lineup for 48 years. Hurry in, folks. These trucks are running. Drive a new Ford F-150 with up to $7,000 cash or 1.9 financing plus $4,250 cash. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers, driven by value.
On game day, every play counts. Now imagine having the same level of control in your field. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Real-time, play-by-play control means you're always ahead of the game. Score big with simplified irrigation technology from Valley, improving your life both on and off the field. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
In the game of life, we all face tough moments. Sometimes it feels like we're up against a formidable block with no way through. Call, text, or chat 988 for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Don't wait for the final set. Reach out, speak up, and let's bump, set, and spike this challenge together. Because in Nebraska, we're more than players. We're a supportive community. Remember, in times of need, call a timeout. Call, text, or chat 988. It's okay to ask for help. We're here for you. Every serve, every pass. Go Big Red. Presented by Nebraska DHHS.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
Welcome back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, which is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Welcome back to Sports Nightly. I'm Jessica Coody. An exciting week for Nebraska wrestling as they head to the NCAA championships. 9 wrestlers will have a chance to compete for national titles in Philadelphia this week. And to preview the week ahead is the head coach, Mark Manning. Coach Manning, thanks for being here with us.
Thanks, Jessica. Thanks for having us on.
Well, before we talk about the NCAAs, I did want to go back and what a finish for your guys at the Big Tens. You guys were the talk of all of wrestling over the week. Had a lot of guys do a lot of good things, had the 2 individual titles.
Yeah.
How excited were you about your group and the way they performed in the Big Ten championships?
Yeah, we had a really good Big Ten tournament, putting 4 in the finals and, taking 9 to nationals. We had two young men. Jacob Van D got a concussion protocol on Saturday night, and then Christopher Mento hurt his ankle. So, both those guys couldn't really wrestle Sunday. So, really disappointed that they couldn't wrestle back and get higher, but it affects their seeds a little bit going in the NCAA tournament. But they're healthy now and ready to go, and that's a big thing. This part of the year being healthy. And our guys are really super excited about, this weekend and know that, all their goals are right in front of them and they're ready to conquer them.
We had Brock Hardy on last week, one of those Big Ten champions, and he's the #1 overall seed. But he had talked about how much it meant to you to win, or meant to him to win that title and get to share that moment with you because you took a chance on him. I mean, you think about he was on a mission and you stuck with him, and you guys have a special relationship. Would you have thought? I mean, I know you believed in him all the way, but where he was when you didn't know what you were going to get out of him to where he is standing on top of the podium, that had to be a special moment for you personally as a head coach. Yeah,
Brock we knew is always good. It's just, when young men go on that mission, you don't know how much, Brock was off the mat for 2 years. That'd be like off the football field, not throwing a football and you're a quarterback, or not being on the basketball court and you're a basketball player. You just don't know how much development you lose in that phase. But his character, and when you know his character, he's going to come back and learn after a red shirt. And, he's had a tough journey because he's had tough guys in his weight class, always battling with Real Woods from Iowa in the past. And then Jesse Mendez won a national title last year, guy he had to beat in the semifinals here at the Big Tens. And Bo Bartlett's always good from Penn State. So he's always not had an easy route, but Brock's really stepped it up in his belief level of getting it done at the Big Ten. He knows, here's another big opportunity for him to shine.
Again, the #1 overall seed at 141 pounds, and he had talked about this, that it's almost like you have to win a national title twice when you go and win a Big Ten championship. But for a lot of your guys, you're wrestling the best of the best in your conference, and then you have to go do it again in 2 weeks. For some of these guys, how do you get them ready to go round 2, round 3, sometimes round 4 with some of these guys that they know very, very well?
Yeah, that's right, Jessica. You match up with them during the year. You might see them at Las Vegas tournament, the big tournaments. Ohio State's always out there, Michigan's always out there, and then, seeing them dual meet season, and then again at Big Ten, and then at So we really try to focus on, hey, being your best and focus on what you do rather than get too, enamored with, hey, this guy does this, he does this. It's not about him, it's about us and what we do, and kind of forcing our will and being the more aggressive person, what works best for us, and be more aggressive in the positions where we are. And, that's not always easy, as we know, and that's why it's called wrestling. It's an imperfect sport, and we just want to be our best in regards to just wrestling tough all 3 periods of the match, not thinking you have it in the bag. You never, at this time of the year, it's never like, hey, there's a minute left, I got this guy. You just never know. You got to finish matches hard and the right way. And I think one of a great example is Lenny Pinto in the semifinals at the Big Ten. 6 seconds left, he had to get a takedown, and he went and did it. And those moments like that bring a lot of belief to our team and his teammates.
Well, let's talk about Ridge Levitt there at 149. He's the 2 seed going into it, and here's a guy that has had the target on his back basically for 2 seasons now.
Yeah,
and I know he was disappointed a year ago this time. How is he grown? How is he taking maybe the experience from last year this time into going into his final time actually wrestling here at Nationals?
I think it's just little steps of little hurdles, like at Big Ten tournament, he had to beat the Iowa guy who he had lost to in a couple really tough, heartbreaking matches, and Ridge major decisioned him, and then, went on and won the title last weekend. And I think those moments are big, of getting over hurdles and proving to yourself, hey, I can do this, and it doesn't matter if this guy has this style or not. It's about how I wrestle. And there again, Ridge is he's a tough out. He's good on his feet. He's good on top and bottom. Everyone knows that. But Ridge just challenging him to be his best on his feet, and that's where he can excel.
Okay, at 125, Caleb Smith, I know there was a little bit of people upset maybe with his seeding. He goes in as the number 9 seed, but he's been one of the top guys at 125 all season long. Yeah. And you and I were chatting. I mean, you got to beat everybody at some point, right? I mean, how poised is Caleb coming off the All-American season a year ago to go make another special run?
Yeah, last year at this time, Jessica, he came in and he was the 15th seed. 15th, and he knocked off the number 2 seed last year early on, second round of the NCAA tournament, and became an All-American. And this year will be no different. Really, it's Caleb knows the guys that are in front of him, and the number 1 seed is the Penn State kid who he's lost to 2 times, super tight matches. And that's a great opportunity for Caleb to be able to win his first 2 matches, face Lil Doll, and get over the hump. That's how our team can rise up and do something special with moments like that. And I'm really excited for Caleb and for his really last shot to be a national champion and get on that podium.
Well, how's Jacob Van Dee coming along? You mentioned he was in concussion protocol. Is he ready to go this week?
Yeah, he's good. He passed all the steps on last Sunday and Monday, and he's good to go. And Christopher Minto is good. He hurt his ankle during Big Tens on Saturday, and young guy, didn't want to say too much. Tried to wrestle through some pain. We probably shouldn't have wrestled him in the last match or so, but that's just how tough he is. He wanted to wrestle for his team, wanted to wrestle for his family. That they don't always get a chance to see him all the time because he's from Florida, and so Christopher's he's healthy now, and he's going to make a splash at this tournament. So got a lot of belief in him, and obviously Cam McDaniel and Silas Allred and Antrell Taylor. Those guys round out our team, and we're really excited about what this team can do.
Okay, let's hit on Antrell Taylor, too, because he has the number 3 seed going in the 157 bracket, and obviously people are familiar with him around here, the Nebraska kid. What kind of postseason can he have? Because he didn't have as much experience going into this a year ago. How does that bode well for him going into this one this time around?
Yeah, I think him being a guy that came through and got on the podium, became an All-American last year when no one thought he could, really gives him great inspiration to be able to see himself at the top of the ring. You know, what do I have to do to be a national champion, not just get on the podium? And so I think that's where his challenges are, his aspirations is, how do I climb from 6th to 1st? How do I make that climb? And, you know, he's like you mentioned, he's the number 3 seed. And really, whether he's 6th seed, 3 seed, you know, you got to beat them all. And so he's got some tough guys in the journey, obviously, but he's going to be trouble for these guys. I'm really excited for him, and I like where he's at. He's had a tough Big Ten tournament, took 4th at a really tough weight class, but he's ready to show what he's all about.
I know you got a lot of guys that you expect to compete for national titles.
Yeah.
But in the case that you fall, how important is that the wrestlebacks for the overall team score and just, you know, having your mind right to bounce back when things maybe don't go your way in a tournament like this?
Yeah, it really tests your character. You know, I always tell our guys, hey, there's one guy that walks away from this tournament happy out of 33 at every bracket. There's one guy. And the second happiest guy is the guy that comes back and gets 3rd.
Yeah.
Because he won his last match. And he made the long trail back to get 3rd place. And Brock last year was you know, it was just so joyful. And, you know, he beat a tough guy for 3rd and 4th. You're going to have to beat tough guys in the wrestlebacks, and coming back and taking 3rd was really a lot of satisfaction. And same thing with these guys. They know they're wrestling for their team and our state and our school, and they have a lot of pride in the block end.
I feel like this is a group that has a lot of confidence, a belief that they can go compete for titles. And yes, it is individual, but a lot of them that come in here, they want to do it for the team, and they've got some big team goals going into this. Yeah, they do. And, you know, we talk about it occasionally, and I think they got a lot of belief from last weekend. It wasn't a surprise. A lot of people were like, wow, he scored a lot of points, and, you know, you took 2nd place, and you distanced yourself from Iowa. But for us, we have high aspirations, you know, more that we can do it. We can do special things. You know, win a national title is hard to do individually or as a team. You know, it takes special moments, it takes special people to do it, and you know, you got to have things go your way and fall your way. And hey, we got tremendous belief that we can do that this weekend, and we have to have a really good weekend and a really good tournament. And I believe in our guys, and it's just fun to have that opportunity, you know. And when you're excited about that, then good things will happen. You know, I don't think in the past we've had some guys fearful going in at this time of the year. These guys, they got a lot of courage and a lot of faith in each other, and they're well bonded together, and it's just a great culture, and really excited to see what they do in Philly. Absolutely. Can't wait. Best of luck. It's a great group. So you can tune in and start watching. The prelims start, at noon in Philadelphia there. So I think 11 o'clock here, 11 a.m. ESPN will have the coverage of all that, all the different. You want to put the quad box on and watch everybody, because there's a lot of Huskers that are going to be competing up there in the NCAA championship starting Thursday for March Madness. Coach Manning, thank you so much for being here. Best of luck this week.
Yeah, thanks, Jessica. Appreciate it. Go Huskers.
Awesome. Mark Manning here with us on Sports Nightly. We're going to step aside for a break. We've got more to come coming up right after this.
If there's one thing Nebraska's known for, it's our beef. And Nebraska soybeans feed a lot of them, and even more pigs and chickens.
I'm Jason Pinky, a farmer near Craig, Nebraska. Soybeans are vital for feeding our livestock, and they're also a powerhouse protein source for people worldwide. Our world needs protein, and Nebraska soybeans are making a difference.
From tailgate grills to global plates, farmers deliver affordable, nutritious protein to build muscle and energy for everyone. Nebraska soybeans, feeding, fueling, and innovating for the future.
Don't miss out on a complete day of activities for the entire family at the 2025 Husker Games presented by FNBO on Saturday, April 26th. The Husker games will include football activities in Memorial Stadium, a soccer matchup with Wyoming at Hibner Stadium, and spring volleyball match against Kansas at the Devaney Center. You can also participate in a tour of the Osborne Legacy Complex, the Husker Equipment Sale, and a food truck festival. Get your tickets today at huskers.com/tickets. See you on April 26th.
I got to see my brother get married.
I would have missed my dad's birthday.
Because I wore my seatbelt, I had the privilege of being part of his special day.
I got to go home and see my family again.
Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
I was able to go to my brother's graduation.
I wouldn't have adopted my first pet.
And then it clicked. My seatbelt saved my life. Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Dear Truckin' Awesome. Want more horsepower in the stable? The Tundra iForce Max is the most powerful Tundra ever. With its electrifying twin-turbo V6, you got everything you need. Saddle up the Tacoma TRD Pro. Its segment-first performance seats are designed to smooth out the shocks when the ride gets bumpy. The Toyota 4Runner is part mean streak, part wild side, and an all-around icon. Check out that signature power rear window, will ya? Yes, sir, Toyota trucks. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers. Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, or Baxter Toyota of Lincoln.
Noddle Companies proudly supports the Huskers Radio Network. As a full-service leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Noddle Hospitality's latest venture in Exarban Village, and the contemporary living of row house townhomes on Leavenworth. We're welcoming world-class concepts from men's fashion and great eats to gorgeous homes and green spaces, all professionally managed by Noddle Services. These are the Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram.
If you've been looking for a reason to fill up your car with unleaded 88, how about this? Unleaded 88
can help you save big at the pump.
And save the planet by cutting greenhouse gas emissions.
Any car 2001 or newer is approved to use unleaded 88. Speaking of good, it's made from corn, which is great for farmers.
As I was saying, if you need a reason to choose unleaded 88, there you have them. Unleaded 88. Engine smart, earth kind. Visit chooseunleaded88.com to learn more.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your foundation and damaging your home. Cracks in walls and uneven floors are just a few signs your foundation is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns: a free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
In the game of life, we all face tough moments. Sometimes it feels like we're up against a formidable defense with no way through. Call a timeout. If you or someone you know is struggling or in crisis, the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is there. Call, text, or chat 988. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Don't wait for the final whistle. Reach out, speak up, and let's tackle this together. Because in Nebraska, we're more than a team. We're family. Remember, in times of need, call, text, or chat 988. Presented by Nebraska DHHS.
Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Welcome back to Sports Nightly. Got a couple of segments left here for you on this Monday night show. Did want to give a big, huge shout out to Nebraska track and field with two individual national champions at the NCAA National Championships indoor meets over the weekend. Axelina Johansson, all she does is win. I mean, it is incredible, her career as a Husker and what she's done in the shot put. She was an Olympian over the summer last year. She has already won an outdoor national champion. Will add an indoor national title to her repertoire. She is the second national champion, as I mentioned, but the first Husker to win an indoor national title since 2005 for the Husker women, as she brings home the individual shot put champion. They had 3 Huskers finish as All-American in the shot put. They know how to throw some shot puts, and they got a lot of throwers there for track and field. That's what Justin St. Clair does. He is known for being one of the best, if not the best, throws coach in the country. Tyus Wilson finishes as the national champion in the high jump, and he's a guy that, gosh, he's just done so much in his career, and I feel like the one thing that has eluded him is the national championship, and he wins a national title. First Husker to win an indoor national champion for the men's side since 2009. So, pair of individual national champs for Nebraska track and field. McKaylin Moore, who has been on this program multiple times, he is a guy who does, I feel like, everything on campus here. He's volunteers. He's part of Life Skills. He's been nominated for all kinds of major awards, both academically, athletically. He is just all around the epitome of a student athlete. And he saved his best for last. It was his last competition as a Husker, and he finishes as the NCAA runner-up in the triple jump. So congratulations to McKaylin Moore, Tyus Wilson, and Axelina Johansson. 5 first-team All-America honorees for Nebraska track and field, and they had a lot of eyeballs on this program. And, you know, this is a program that just continues to get better as they go to the outdoors, because they add more guys and women, more men and women that can compete, because the javelin is not an indoor sport, and so there's multiple events now that they add in the spring that continue to add to the overall team score. So once again, I know both men and women will go into the outdoor season ranked pretty high with some high expectations. As the men look to go defend their outdoor title as they went back-to-back, but they'll look to try to make it 3 in a row. And again, just a lot of expectations for Justin St. Clair's team going into the outdoor season. We have not talked about softball either. They unfortunately dropped 2 games to Ohio State. We were on the air on Friday with the shifting of the baseball game and the start time there. We were able to listen in to Nate Rohr and picked up a big win on Friday night, but dropped the Saturday game and the Sunday game. Saturday's game was wild. It was 13-12 ended up being the final. There was a slugfest. And then, unfortunately, just could not come back. They had some opportunities, but could not come back and win it. So they drop. They go 1-2 against Ohio State. But as we mentioned, Ohio State is a team that is receiving votes in that top 25. So they will, it's a team that's going to win a lot of softball games. But hopefully, the softball team can get back to their winning ways, hosting Minnesota back at home at Bowlin Stadium. 5 o'clock on Friday is the first pitch for the first game of that series. 1 o'clock Saturday and 12 o'clock on Sunday. And Sunday is a special day. It is the annual Bark in the Park game. So that'll be fun. I'll try to take Sunny out there, out to Bowlin Stadium there. All right, we're going to step aside for a break. When we come back, we are back to wrap up the show with our weekend winners. Keep it here on Sports Nightly.
The signs are everywhere. It's time for Truck Month at your Midwest Ford dealers. Get $3,000 cash on Super Duty and save on Ford F-150. Both part of F-Series, America's best-selling truck lineup for 48 years. Hurry in, folks. These trucks are running. Drive a new Ford Super Duty with $3,000 cash or 1.9% financing. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers, driven by value.
Don't miss out on a complete day of activities for the entire family at the 2025 Husker Games presented by FNBO on Saturday, April 26th. The Husker Games will include football activities in Memorial Stadium, a soccer matchup with Wyoming at Hibbner Stadium, and spring volleyball match against Kansas at the Devaney Center. You can also participate in a tour of the Osborne Legacy Complex, the Husker Equipment Sale, and a food truck festival. Get your tickets today at huskers.com/tickets. See you on April 26th.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Husker fans, let's call a timeout on the court and in life.
When the game gets tough, Nebraska stands together as a family, as a team. If you or someone you know is struggling or in crisis, the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is there. Call, text, or chat 988. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. You're part of the Husker family, and every member is valued on and off the court. Remember, in times of need, call a timeout. Call, text, or chat 988. Presented by Nebraska DHHS.
When you're in the stands and have the ability to control your irrigation in the field, it's a game-changing moment. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Experience real-time, play-by-play action and control that keeps you ahead. Score big with irrigation technology from Valley. It's technology that improves your life and lets you be at the game and in the game. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
Welcome back. Final segment here of Sports Nightly on this Monday evening. I sprung this on Josh, but we always typically like to close out Monday night show with our weekend winners. Josh, were you able to find one?
I was. It's been a while since I've been here on a Monday, so I'm not used to it.
I kind of forgot too. It's been a little bit of a crazy spring. We don't always have shows on Monday, so I kind of forgot.
Well, you told me before the last segment, so I had about 5-10 minutes to find something. So I did. Yeah, if you want me to lead off, I can. I'm going with Papillion La Vista South boys basketball. They won a state championship on Saturday, 61-58. Couple of Husker connections. Bryson Ball, his brother Jordy Ball, he made 3 free throws in the final seconds to close out the win. And then Greg Eaton, he was the director of ops for Nebraska men's basketball under Tim Miles. He's an assistant now with Papio South. So a couple of connections there for the boys there at Papio South.
Yeah, that was awesome. But the first ever state title too, right?
Yes, their first ever. Yep, exactly.
Congratulations. Yeah, that was awesome. I actually watched the end of that when they knocked off, sorry, Damon Benning's West Side Warriors, but congratulations to Bryson Ball there. I was going to go with one of the track and field national champions, but I just talked about that, so I'll spread the love a little bit more. And I'm going to go with Whitney Jinks with Nebraska women's gymnastics. They capped off their senior night, their final home meet. They'll head to the Big Ten championships this week, but Whitney Jinks claims the all-around title with a career high in the all-around, and she has just really been performing really well. I had a chance to call that meet with Kenzie Davis, but she's been just really hitting a peak here as they close out the season. She's a sophomore and just has been doing some really big things. So congratulations, Whitney Jinks wins the all-around title for Nebraska women's gymnastics. And that's a team, another women's sports team that will be headed to the postseason. They will compete in the Big Tens, as mentioned, this coming weekend. But after that, they will have their selection show coming up, and then they'll head to regional action as well. They're ranked in the top 20 going into the postseason. So congratulations to Heather Brink's crew on a great season so far, and hopefully more to come as they will head to the Big Tens. And yeah, so that's going to do it for us here on Sports Nightly. We'll have a full 2 hours coming up on Thursday, as mentioned. We will not be on the air coming up tomorrow night or Wednesday. We'll be on the air with Husker baseball as they take on Pepperdine. 5 o'clock first pitch, both Tuesday and Wednesday. Pregame show at 4:30. Ben and Nick will have you covered there. But we'll have 2 hours coming up on Thursday. Want to dive in more to the matchup with Nebraska women's basketball as they head to the NCAA tournament. We'll take on Louisville in their first-round matchup, the 7-10 matchup there in the Fort Worth, as TCU gets the 2 seed. So winner of that one will more than likely take on TCU. So we'll talk with much more about that with Matt Coatney coming up on Thursday. Hoping to talk some Husker softball as well. As we mentioned, they will have a 3-game series back at home, Big Ten opener for Nebraska softball. And we'll hear from the president, Dr. Gold. We'll have another check-in with him coming up on Thursday as well. So busy time here on the network, but we will talk to you then for a full 2 hours of Sports Nightly on Thursday night. In the meantime, enjoy some Husker baseball, and happy St. Patrick's Day. Hope you're having a safe night out there drinking some, as I mentioned there to open up the show, as Greg Sharp would always say, some lemonades, some green lemonades for you. So have a great night. Thanks for listening. Thanks to everyone for being a part of this. Thanks to Josh Huckelman for punching the show for us, and we will talk to you here on Sports Nightly on Thursday night. Have a great night.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Want to boost Nebraska's economy and help the planet? It's as easy as filling up your tank. Switch to soy-based biodiesel to cut greenhouse gases by up to 74% and support biodiesel growth.
I'm Greg Anderson, a farmer near Newman Grove, Nebraska, and biodiesel has transformed our farm. It cuts emissions, raises the cetane number, and improves fuel lubricity.
So ask for biodiesel where you fill up. It benefits our air, economy, and Nebraska soybean farmers. Nebraska soybeans, feeding, fueling, and innovating for the future.
If you've been looking for a reason to fill up your car with unleaded 88, how about this? Unleaded 88
can help you save big at the pump
and save the planet by cutting greenhouse gas emissions.
Any car 2001 or newer is approved to use unleaded 88. Speaking of good, it's made from corn, which is great for farmers.
As I was saying, if you need a reason to choose unleaded 88, there you have them. Unleaded 88. Engine smart, earth kind. Visit chooseunleaded88.com to learn more.
The signs are everywhere. It's time for Truck Month at your Midwest Ford dealers. Get up to $7,000 cash on F-150 and save on Ford Super Duty. Both part of F-Series, America's best-selling truck lineup for 48 years. Hurry in, folks. These trucks are running. Drive a new Ford F-150 with up to $7,000 cash or 1.9 financing plus $4,250 cash. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers, driven by value.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your basement and damaging your home. Mold, cracks, and of course visible water are just a few signs your basement is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place.